and welcome to Chaotic Riffs TV, and this is Metal. I got with me Tom Collier, my fantastic co-host, who came on in August of this year as a new co-host. Tom and I would like to thank everybody for checking out the This Is Metal show, and we've pumped out so far 30 great new shows. Tom, I want to have you take it away and tell people what this experience has been like for you.
It's been incredible because, like I say, I've always been interviewed. I haven't been on this side of it. I've always been not the interviewer, but the person that's being interviewed. And it's just a whole new perspective for me. And it's been just such a great experience. And working with you, Jason's been fantastic. I just love it. And there's so many great things we're going to be doing in 2024. We're going to be new Held Hostage record, all these new fire rock bands. We've signed some great new bands and stuff like that. And I can't wait to get them on the show with us,
And who is Fire Rock Music Group? Well, let me tell you, folks, Fire Rock Music Group, Tom Collier there is the president of the label. It's a great new label, and they've signed a lot of great up-and-coming bands. A lot of those bands have been featured guests on the show. And so, Tom, what's it been like to go from also being an entertainer yourself, a performing artist yourself, to actually having the opportunity to sign up-and-coming musicians?
Well, it's been tough because I hate to say no to people, but there's probably maybe 1 out of 25 bands makes it with us, and some maybe even up to 1 out of 50 bands. But I've got to put on a different hat and look at it realistically. I have friends of mine that came to me and I've just said, guys, it's not going to work for us. It's nothing against your music, but it's just not your time. But it's quite an experience because, like I say, I'm wearing 2 hats now. I'm looking at it from the artist perspective and from the business perspective of it, and it's exciting. And sometimes it's heartbreaking for somebody when I have to tell the artist that, listen, we're not going to. 2 people I had to talk to, bands today that I knew I'd talk to them, said, you're not going to sign me. I'm sorry about that, guys. It's hard.
And also with us today, Tom and I have Leithal-X, the man behind Chaotic Riffs, the owner of the site, who we could not do any of this without. And what is so exciting about having him on board is me and Leithal-X, we hooked up about back in 2007, and it started out as a site where we were doing interviews that were done through email, where I would email, I would contact the bands and see if they wanted to do an interview, and then I'd email them the questions, have to wait back for the responses. So that's how it started out. Then it progressed to doing audio interviews and interviewing people over the phone, and that was quite different because all of a sudden I was talking to some of these people, and some of these were up and coming bands, some of them were people that I followed and were a fan of. So, you couldn't be a fanboy. You have to keep it professional. And so that was quite interesting. And then just this year in 2023, we finally took the giant leap, like a lot of sites, and we started doing these video interviews over Zoom. And that is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I got to be honest with people. I'm not too tech savvy, so I wasn't sure how I was going to go about doing it, but I did my homework, and it's been a whole lot of fun, this last year doing these video interviews. I've been proud of all the video interviews we've done. It's been a great pleasure interviewing these folks. So Leith, let's take it away, Mr. Leithal-X, and talk about, go back to 2007 when we launched Chaotic Riffs, and to see where it's come today in 2023. Talk a little bit about what it's meant to you.
Hey, J-Rock, just glad to be on here. I'm always in the background doing everything. But going back to the very beginning of everything, it was kind of by accident we met. I mean, it was in the days of MySpace. So we started out with transcriptions and me putting it into a layout and a PDF format. And we've always made everything free for everybody. We've never charged for it because it was more about getting the word out there.
Sure.
But it was for actually a project for getting stuff for veterans to try to earn some money for them is how we kind of hooked up. And that's something that I still have an interest in. I'm a veteran myself, so I'm always looking for ways to try to help people out. So we did that whole journey starting way back. I think it was like 2007, I think, somewhere in there.
That's what I remember. And, it's been a fun ride. And I got to say, what's really made it fun is, in fact, up until recently, you and I had never, even talked over the phone. We'd met once before when you came out to California where I live. You and your wife came out. You invited me to go out to lunch with you guys, and that was fun getting to finally, put a face with the name and just have a giggle. I don't know if you remember this, but we've been communicating when we first met on MySpace via email, like we've done several times over years. And I don't know why, but for first couple months, for some reason I was mispronouncing your name. For some reason I thought it was Lay, and you said no, it's Australian, it's Lay, and so that's cool. And I love the fact that you go by the name Leithal-X. You created these names like J Rock, stuff.
J-Rock, yep, that was
a great way to brand things and people. And I never would have thought about. Talk a little bit about how you came up with that idea, because without even it becoming a thing, I started interviewing some of these people, and then I become friends with some of these musicians, and we'd interview more than once over the years, and a lot of them just started calling me J Rock, and so I said, you know what, we're just going to go with this.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because honestly, I don't really remember totally how I came across it. I think you were doing interviews and it was for
Yeah.
rock and your name was Jay, and then somehow I just said, "Oh, hey, J Rock,"
Yeah.
And it just works for some reason. And it's just that whole branding thing. And like I do the Leithal-X stuff. It's got my name in it, but at the same time, it's not my name. It's just a mysterious thing. So I like to kind of open that up. It's like a lot of your people doing band,
Yeah.
world and so forth. Singers necessarily have a nickname or whatever they go by and so forth. But um, yeah, it's been a good journey for us. And then we brought Tom on recently, and I think that's given us another whole element and another whole direction and another whole purpose that's allowing us to be able to focus now and go in a certain direction and continue our journey we started of helping artists actually, get known. My goal has always been get the people who aren't necessarily out there known, let them have a way or a channel to actually do that without having to go pay somebody all the time to do that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people may not realize it, but we don't get paid to do this.
Yeah.
This is something that we just do out of, the passion of doing that.
I mean, you and I both have day jobs, and this is something we do on the side. And it really has been a team effort. For the longest time, it was simply you and me, where you were the owner, you were the power that be, you own the site, and then you reached out to me and said, how would you like to create the site, and you do the interviews for me, and it's been a lot of fun. And then I gotta say, I had the freedom to kind of pretty much every once in a while you say, hey, I got this band that they reach out to me, would you mind interview? But for the most part, I've been allowed to kind of reach out to the bands myself, and I pretty much would book all the interviews, and I would I conduct the interviews myself, and took a lot of pride in that. It was a lot of fun. I didn't really have any restrictions where you can't do this, you can't say this. There's really been none of that, and that's what's made it really a great process. And I also got to say, Leith, that another thing I've really enjoyed about the partnership with you is it is, while you for the most part remained until now behind the scenes, I can definitely say that it is a team effort in the sense that while I may be the face and the guy that does the interviews and the voice, you are definitely the powers that be. And what I mean, it really is a team effort, because I may be the voice and the guy who's on the screen, but you are much more tech savvy than I am. I mean, people need to know you have a nice little home studio from what you tell me, and you get really creative. And you're the guy that upload. I basically conduct the interviews. I send them to you. You upload everything to the YouTube page. But without even that partnership, that I don't know that I'd be able to do this. I mean, I probably would, but I'd have to get a little more tech savvy than what I am. So I want to point that out to everybody, that it's an equal partnership here.
Yeah, and this is actually an extension of my company I started back in 2005. It's actually called Vortexual Dreams Production, which that whole name's created another whole conversation over the years. But I've kind of spun off different directions, different things, and this is one of the ones that's kind of stuck along the way. And that was all because I wanted to do videos, so I was always doing videos. Back then I was doing a lot of birthday parties and a lot of weddings and different things, and doing logo designs and websites and all that kind of stuff. So I have a pretty eclectic background. So when you come to me and you say, hey, I was thinking about maybe this, and like the bars, the Boris Gar's Boris thing, you just threw it out there, and I said, well, let me see what I can come up with. And so I whipped that together. And then when we were putting this show together, the This Is Metal logo, I was like, well, Metal Blade, but
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Metal
yeah.
Blade, records, but let's do something similar. So I did like a Saw Blade instead, spinning in. And I just did that, just come up with the ideas and then I make it happen. And that's just because I've kind of been doing this for a while. So it's not difficult
Yeah.
for me anymore.
Like I said, it's a real team effort, and talking specifically about Chaotic Riffs, for the longest time I was kind of the face, the lone wolf, the lone talent, and as great as that was, it got to a point where I kind of realized, okay, let's have a little variety here in the sense that maybe people, oh, it's just that one guy, and so along the way I met people like Tom and another great guitar player we've had on. This is Metal. I interviewed Mick Michaels from the band Corner of the Sanctuary probably at least 9 or 10 times over the years. In fact, I'm going to be interviewing him again this week. He reached out to me that they have a great Christmas song that they want to promote. So we're going to be doing that. But I bring these people up because they've been part of the Chaotic Riff story, if you will. And so like we created a show like This Is Metal. And I got to tell the folks listening to this that This Is Metal, when we launched it, was with another co-host named Joe Lawson. Joe is a singer in his own right. He was in the bands Scream Kings and Dragon Lore. And like a lot of bands, they struggle to kind of have success. And he put out like 2 great albums with the band Scream King. And I did an interview with him where he just seemed to be one of these guys that knew everything about metal. And I thought, this guy, not only does he give a great interview, but he would be, it'd be fun to have a show with him. And originally what This Is Metal became was it was like almost like a podcast where we talk about metal. We do a new episode once, and then him and I had wanted to. Our goal was always to have guests come on the show, and again, not being too tech savvy, we had difficulty figuring out how to do that. And then once I started doing the Chaotic Riffs TV interviews. I kind of said, why don't we try, now that I know how to do these Zoom, why don't we try to transfer this over to a Zoom thing? Let's go live. Let's make it a video thing where we can have guests. And so Joe, before Joe made the decision, he was no longer able to do the show. He done a few of these episodes with me, over Zoom, and I'm glad he got to do that because it's something he'd always wanted to do. But ultimately, he was no longer able to do the show for personal reasons, professional reasons. He had things going on in his life, and so that's when I searched out for who could possibly take the place. And Tom is about, I'm not going to name names, but Tom is about one of 3 people that immediately came to my mind. Tom, because I interviewed him also, like Mick Michael, several times over years. Super friendly guy, super talented, and the funny thing about it, when I'd asked Tom, I knew nothing about him being the president of Fire Rock Music Group. That came up after I asked him. So that's been an added bonus because Fire Rock Music Group is now sponsoring our shows, and that's another great partnership. And Tom, we've just cranked out like 30 shows since you've come on board, and I know I've done a lot of talking. So Tom, I'm gonna let you wrap this session up today, and just tell me again, and then to folks, what's this meant to you?
Like I say, it's been just a fantastic experience. Every show gets better and better, and we need to talk about Fire Rock. Really, we're going to get the bands. We're going to do the top 10 bands submissions, and we're going to release it on Fire Rock. And I'll be working with Leith for that too. And but I'll get the legal stuff over. We need to get that launched out too. We want to bring bands out there, give them a chance to actually be released worldwide on a record label. Yeah,
and I think also in 2024, Tom, we're going to maybe start. You mentioned to me that maybe we could do some ads for some of these acts on the label, so people know how to get a hold of their music, their albums, and stuff like that. And we appreciate that because again, it's a partnership, and we've enjoyed this. And final thing I will say, guys, is that as Leith mentioned, also since Tom's come on board, the creation of a logo and that it gives it a much more professional look, and it's something that we've been very excited about because it has a look now. People, when they see that logo, that's what they're going to think of that. And we got these beautiful T-shirts that me and Leith are wearing, and so people can go to www. The This Is Metal show if they want to order one of these beautiful shirts, and that's it. And we're it's been fun doing this little promo today. We're going to start doing a little more of these, maybe once a month, just to kind of let people know what's going on. And we got a whole truckload of interviews coming up. We're gonna wrap it up for 2023. We have about 3 more interviews to do, and that's it. So, Leithal-X, before we go, is there anything you'd like to say to the folks?
No, I think I really appreciate everything that you and Tom are doing. And I'm gonna make it an effort to pop in here during the 2024 and be a little bit more active in things whenever possible. Because like I say, I've been listening to music, forever, it seems like, and I've been in the metal side of it since I was a kid. So I've heard bands like Grim Reaper when they were coming out years ago. That's where I kind of started. So this is a lot of fun. So
And speaking of Grim Reaper, Leith, Tom had done something with the late Steve Grimmett, right, Tom?
No. No. I knew him. I met him, but I didn't do anything.
Okay, excuse me. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, you met him or something.
Yes, I was able to meet him. A great guy, but he was ill. It was towards the end of his career.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun, and so Leith, I know you're going to go home and plan, and I think it'd be fun to do something like this once a month, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Over and out. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
All right.